All right, guys, we're going to do another thinking leads to eating. This isn't fair. Life isn't fair. The situation isn't fair. It's not fair. All right, so the reality is, this is a real interesting thought, right? It's not fair. Based on whose perception is it not fair, right? So you got snubbed for the raise at work, it's not fair. To the person who got it, no, it's actually quite fair, right? It's not fair that that person's so thin and they can still eat a hamburger and I can't. Okay, is it really not fair? Do you really know what that person does on a day-to-day basis for every single meal and their workouts? No, this story, it's not fair. When it shows up, maybe you're like me. A lot of my it's not fair story was coming from my youth. I felt a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, a lot of hurt based on a situation I couldn't control, and ended up going to therapy for it. But for years, more than a decade, I let the story, it's not fair, this shouldn't have happened, other people have a normal da-da-da-da-da, all these beautiful Hallmark cards that come out that are all about, relationships that I might not have. It's not fair. It really hurt, right? And what I wasn't seeing in that moment, what does a lower brain do? Lower brain hears it's not fair. There is a problem to be solved. And then it goes in to try to fix the problem. But is it ever going to be able to fix the problem? Is it ever going to be able to travel to your past and swap out family members and give you normal, healthy, functioning family members? Is it going to ever be able to go back in time and change the fact you did or didn't get the promotion, that you did or didn't get the genetics you have? No, it's an unfixable problem. So when you say the phrase, it's not fair, and you send your lower brain on a mission to fix that problem, you kind of have a bigger problem because it can't do that. So then what does it do? It can't fix it. Spinning the wheels, right? Focusing on all the past hurt and frustration, leading you into the arms of, you guessed it, food. It's always going to take you there unless you're somebody whose lower brain has hardwired alcohol or drugs or some other activity to that feeling of discomfort. For you, me, and most of the people who follow this channel, it's always going to be food. So where is your superpower? I'm going to tell you what I did and how it revolutionized my situation. I had done some research, went to therapy, and I learned this concept of radical responsibility. What I didn't see was I was spending so much time thinking about what wasn't fair that I wasn't actually in the present moment, and I wasn't doing anything to help my future self. Like, okay, yeah, it wasn't fair that that happened and that I got stuck in this situation, or that this person ended up being part of my life and I don't have a quote unquote normal relationship. I'm totally not fair, right? But the bag of Doritos that I'm eating right now, the thing of cinnamon rolls that I'm scarfing down, how is that fixing that not fair situation? It's not. How is it going into my past to switch out people and put in better people? It's not. All I was doing was actually securing the fact that my future wasn't going to be much better than my past. And it was like, oh, wow. So all that stuff that happened, that life isn't fair stuff, I can't change that. It's kind of there. It's like a movie that you could choose to pop in, choose to not watch, your choice. But all the great stuff to come, that I can actually influence. That I can choose to take a different set of actions to get a different outcome. So what I did is I would hear my lower brain say, oh, it's not fair. It shouldn't be this way. And I'd say, it happened. Whatever it is, it happened. What do I have control over right now? What do I want to see for my future self 2 years from now, 5 years from now? Let's work on that. because that's something to come. That's something I can influence. But as long as I stayed stuck in my story of it's not fair, whatever the it is for you, it just keeps you in a perpetual cycle of being a victim. It keeps you in the situation where your brain is looking to fix something it can't fix because it's in the past and there's nothing that can be done about it. And it robs you of taking action today. What is it that you have control over today? Spouse left you, cheated on you, left you with the kids. Okay, it happened. It sucks. I'm going to say that for you. It sucks. But it doesn't change. It's always just going to be there. It's the same story. And now you have an option. You can acknowledge it. I don't say pretend it didn't happen. Yeah, it sucked. He left me. He cheated on me. Left me with the kids. But what do I have control over today? If I want to get me and the kids in a better place, what can I do now to get me into a better future? See, that's when we say it's not fair, we rob ourselves of being creative, of using our prefrontal cortex to think about a solution to get us into a better future. For me, it was, yes, my past happened. Yes, it sucked. It shouldn't have been that way, quote unquote, right? But nothing I could do in that moment was going to change the past. All I can do in the moment is influence my future. And if I want a better future, and this was actually something I said to myself for a very long time, I spent 30 years focusing on what I didn't have, how life wasn't fair, how this sucked, yada, yada, yada. And it was kind of a waste of my time. I could spend that next 30 years doing it again in the future, or I could create a different 30 years to come, right? And that's what I chose. And ever since I made that decision, ever since I did what I call radical responsibility, where I just said, okay, yeah, this sucky situation happened, but what can I do today? What can I focus on that's going to create a better future for tomorrow? That revolutionized my life. I lost 170 pounds. I've been keeping it off for 10 years. We paid off all of our debt. We paid off our home. We completely changed our financial tree as well as our health tree. But none of that would have happened had I stayed stuck in those thoughts. It's not fair, because it totally immobilized me. It made me incapable of focusing on today and working to create a better future for tomorrow, because I was so stuck in my past. And past, by the way, can be 10 minutes ago. So when you go, oh, Heather, I have nothing in my past. Okay, did a guy just cut you off in traffic and piss you off? And you go, it's not fair? You're in the past 10 minutes ago. Like, we do this, we don't even realize we do it, right? It's not fair, so-and-so's not hosting the holiday this year. It's not fair. It is what it is. Like, the sooner you can come to terms with that and say, okay, this is my reality. This is what's going on. What is it I can do to move myself forward? The sooner you create that future that you want for yourself, because your power is in the present moment. It's only in today. And this is why lower brain struggle with it's not fair, because there's zero you can do today to change the past events. Your husband's not going to magically not have left you with the kids and had an affair on you because you think it shouldn't be that way. It is. It happened. It's done. No going back and changing it. And really I look at it like this. You're freeing yourself when you just accept it and you move on. Because the you that keeps playing that story over and over in your head, you're subjecting yourself to all the horrible feelings that went with that event. What if you chose not to? Like, yeah, the guy was a jerk. He did all that to you. Okay. So every time you replay it in your head and you think about it and you go in depth into it, I should have said this and why did this and you're causing yourself pain and grief. You don't have to keep punishing yourself anymore. You can say, you know what? I'm going to really release that for me, not for him. I'm going to release that for me, and I'm going to let me walk forward. I'm going to create that future I really want. I hope this message is empowering. The it's not fair story really going to lead you down the road of eating. Better to nip it in the bud and say, I'm not going there. What can I do today to move me to the future I want in coming? Not the past I can't alter. You guys have a great day. Please like and subscribe, share these videos, and watch the whole Thinking Leads to Eating series. I promise you it's time well spent. You guys take care. I'll talk to you soon.